High stakes this weekend. You ready? The Clarity Act must pass, and that's what we're going to be talking about on this video because we're at the end here, guys. There's only 1 week remaining, okay? Until August 7th. A week left. Let's begin. From Machiguru. Justin, JP Morgan says failure to pass the Clarity Act will hurt crypto markets. How come all these Wall Street institutions, right, like large entity that are the main puppets of our traditional financial system, how come they're all backing the Clarity Act up? It seems like everyone important wants it to pass. Then why isn't it getting passed? Quote, the longer the approval of the Clarity Act is postponed, the greater the threat to crypto markets, end quote. What does that tell you? It tells you that cryptos are heavily manipulated without the Clarity Act passing, right? When the Clarity Act passes, guys, manipulation in the crypto market will be removed, okay? And you could clearly tell. I don't have a chart right now that showcases this, but if you look at the stock market and if you look at the crypto market, you could see a major divergence like this. Here's stocks, right? And where's cryptos? Here's cryptos. Okay? That's what happened, right? They're both correlated at some point in time, but then cryptocurrencies decoupled from the stock market, right? It was because of October 10th, guys. When whenever the October 10th crash happened, something broke, something changed, right? And what could that be? Well, manipulation to the downside, right? I'm guessing why they wanted cryptos to dump is because if you were a market maker, right? If you were an elite, guys, wouldn't you want cheaper cryptos, like cheaper prices? Right, and then you'll keep buying and accumulating as much as possible behind the scenes, and then you'll activate the floodgates of Clarity Act, which will push prices to astronomical heights. That's why crypto's dumped. That's why it's decoupled, and JP Morgan knows this because they just said it. Approximately 90% of the crypto spot markets and 80% of digital asset futures operate overseas, leaving less than 10% of global trading volume on domestic US platforms. This massive offshore concentration stems from historical regulatory uncertainty and enforcement approaches in the US. What could this mean? Do you understand how diabolical this is? Only 10% of the global trading volume is on US platforms like Coinbase. Okay? Guess what that means? The entire run up of cryptos of Bitcoin and XRP and all these digital assets, the pump was created overseas. Okay? Now imagine when Clarity is active here, hopefully fingers crossed by next week, imagine the liquidity that's going to get unlocked in America, because remember, America is a superpower of the world, right? The super house. They control the money printing. What does that mean? The money is going to pour ballistically. Look at the stat right there. That's all you need to know, right? Michael Saylor is a Bitcoin maxi, but somehow he's supporting the Clarity Act. I'm telling you, everyone's supporting it. Something's happening here. Michael Saylor just tweeted out, I support advancing the Clarity Act through bipartisan work to establish clear, durable rules, protect property rights, promote innovation, and strengthen American capital markets. Bitcoin will succeed with or without legislation, but America needs clarity for digital assets. You see that? We know that XRP already has clarity. Bitcoin does too, supposedly, because Satoshi Nakamoto is anonymous, he just said, okay? But the rest of the market doesn't. And if we want all boats to rise, if we want the craziest run ever known to mankind, guys, more crazy than 2017, and I know a bunch of you guys weren't here in 2017, but if you guys were, go back on the charts and look at the 2017 crypto run. I'm telling you, altcoins were pumping 100x overnight. I'm not kidding, right? That's what's going to happen in this run when Clarity is fully active. When the banks start buying, when the banks start promoting cryptos, right, having their own services, crypto services. Okay, so it's going to get massive, guys. Prepare, and this needs to pass. Breaking. So let's get an update on the Clarity Act because there's something huge happening this weekend, and it's all or nothing right now. Republicans and Democrats reportedly reached a bipartisan deal on an ethics package in the Clarity Act. Details have not yet emerged, and White House approval is still needed. There it is. That's it. Supposedly the deal is reached, but it's almost there from Eleanor News. So here's the real source. Okay, I'm hearing from a couple of sources off the Hill that the latest ethics proposal brokered by Tom Tillis and Ruben Gallego includes a role for state attorneys general, although it's still unclear what the full package looks like or what additional provisions have been added to address White House concerns. The White House is now reviewing the latest draft, which was sent over this morning. Separately, I'm told industry representatives spent much of yesterday making calls to the White House, making the case that reaching an ethics compromise is critical to getting the Clarity Act across the finish line. That's it, right? How the White House response could go a long way toward determining whether the Senate moves forward with a vote on the bill next week. So all the chips are on the table, guys. The White House just needs to make the call here. Okay, we're at the finish line. Right? Here's what Senator Cynthia Lummis says. If we're on track of Clarity getting signed into law, it has to happen. It must happen. What else could I say? It has to happen. If we want to see $100 per XRP, it must happen.
Are you still on track for a Senate vote before the August recess?
Yes, I am. We have one more week.
There it is. It's still on track, guys. That's so crazy. There's like seven more days left. Is that even enough time? It is. I mean, I would assume, they could just get all these things done in like a day if they wish to, right? But for some odd reason, it's just being delayed for some odd purpose.
Here in Washington, at least, yes, there's a lot to do. We have multiple nominations we want to get through. There's talk of a continuing resolution vote. There's the Iran and Ukraine/Russia sanctions vote, and other things that are important on the agenda. But
another one more thing I want is what is it called? Cold wallets. I heard a cold wallet, a Bitcoin cold wallet, got hacked. Okay, so much Bitcoin were stolen. Hopefully, there's something in the bill, right? Or they should add it where, if there's an hack, right, the user or customer is refunded.
Senator Thune has kept a place for the Clarity Act on the agenda before the August recess for many, many weeks now, and I believe he does intend to go through with it. So we will be proceeding, and I can't tell you whether it's going to be tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday, but we will be moving forward.
Are you?
Come on, is it going to happen? Right? Guys, nobody really understands how big this is. I'm telling you, if this passes, so much money we're going to moonshots. I'm not kidding. Right? You see the stat in the beginning of the video, right? It's only 10%. Imagine, because America has the most volume, right? So imagine everything happening by the American signal. This weekend will be high-stakes waiting game for supporters of the Clarity Act as the White House considers a new ethics counteroffer that will likely determine the fate of the bill in the Senate next week. The proposal is the culmination of weeks of bipartisan negotiations between Senator Tom Tillis in Arizona. Okay, we've seen this, both of whom have called for a stronger ethics package than the one agreed to by the White House and 2 Senate Republicans last week. According to the 3 sources familiar with the negotiations, that initial offer did not pass muster with Tillis, Gallego, and several other key Democrats. They want state attorneys general to be able to sue the Department of Justice if it fails to enforce ethics laws against federal officials. So there it is. So that's why it's getting delayed. Okay. For example, if like a politician gets caught, right, doing something shady with cryptos or even being involved, They want to make sure state attorneys general to be able to sue, right? The DOJ, okay? If it fails to enforce ethics laws, okay? So that's pretty much it. I guess that's why it's being delayed and everything. But guys, the chart on XRP, it's kind of looking slowly but surely starting to look more bearish. Something needs to happen. The white swan needs to appear fast as possible, right? That's the only way where we're gonna fly. We have entered the bullish moon period, okay? I understand this, but we're still not pumping, which is kind of odd because every other bullish time without no black swan events, we pump, right? This time around, not necessarily. When you look on the RSI, it's because momentum is fleeing the asset. Look at the daily, right? Doesn't look too great. Look at the 2-day, right? Not too good, guys. The 3-day, we're on the cusp of going below the yellow moving average. Just needs to hold that support here, okay? Right here, guys. It needs to, right? So it's do or die, right? It's do or die. The 4-day as well is about to cross over, okay? It needs to pass. That's the only way we're about to skyrocket, and we're about to find out. Fingers crossed, guys. Pray that it does pass by next week. Not financial advice, because then the floodgates will open. But that's it. What do you say, Sophie's Museums? See ya.